Hello, everyone. Welcome to this closing session of the third edition of the Microsoft Meets the Community event. I hope you had a great time listening in on all the previous sessions. I'm Sandeep Patnaik, and I lead a stellar team that's responsible for building the product strategy and also building the next generation of end user experience and protocol for WVD. I am super excited to be here to talk about not only the user experience and the protocol updates and enhancements that we have done over the last year or so, but also talk about the team philosophy and the mindset so that together customers, partners, and Microsoft can build something that all of us love. We come to work every day to provide the best virtualized Windows experience from anywhere on any device. Now, the most important thing to remember is there are multiple personas here who are involved. We want to make sure that every person who interacts with WVD is empowered to do more, be it end users being their most productive self with the best in class quality of experience, or IT admins being able to provide the most powerful yet cost effective environments, or be it Microsoft providing the best tools and capabilities to enable our customers and partners to have the most seamless virtual desktop experience. WVD, when it started, we were deployed only in a few regions, but we have always supported connections from all over the world. And as the usage increased, we made sure that we provided the best experience to them no matter where they connect from, just like our vision. So we enabled a lot of these optimizations over the last year or so. Today, we have got hundreds of thousands of WVD users connecting from around the world and millions more connecting to their PCs from devices of their choice. In other words, simply put, the WVD clients, which are also remote desktop clients, are being used by millions of users who connect to millions of PCs. I'm emphasizing the word millions because that's the scale at which we work at. That's the quality that we have to meet. And that's the reason why we have this philosophy and mindset that whatever we do, we have to make sure we meet the best of the best scenarios, make sure the connections get through all the time, make sure the user is getting the highest quality of experience. Let's talk about the clients a bit. We have clients for almost every platform out there, right from Windows 10 and Windows 7. And recently we added the UWP client support as well. We also have the support for HTML5, Android, Mac OS, and iOS devices as well. We also have support for thin clients. This includes Windows 10 IoT enterprise-based thin clients, as well as key Linux-based thin clients, including those from Azure and Computing and all major OEMs. If you are using any of these clients today, feel free to reach out to your OEM and find out where they are with respect to support, or how, if they already supported, how can you get the client and connect to WVD right away. This is pretty big and I'm super excited about this. Now let's look at the features that the Microsoft first party clients have. A lot of these things you'll see are um, kind of available across the board, be it the best desktop experience, remote app experience, multi-factor authentication, conditional access, different languages, and so on. There are many places where many features where the Windows client is a lot more feature rich. We like to call it Windows client is the most like local to running um, any application. Imagine in this case, you're trying to run Word or PowerPoint in a remote session and you're trying to run Word or PowerPoint locally, you should be getting pretty much the same experience. That's what we call like local. That's what we want to provide as like local as possible. And in this case, you will see on the Windows client side, we have support for multiple monitors. We support 16 8K monitors. 16 8K monitors. If you have a setup of that kind, please send me a picture. I'm dying to see somebody use that. But we obviously have a lot of customers who have multiple 4K monitors. I myself use two 4K monitors and one 3.5K monitor. So I love this setup. A lot of resolution out there, but a lot of real estate, screen estate as well, so that I can do a lot of my work in parallel, and I love to do that. The Windows client has support for third-party plugins. So you have ThinPrint, you have got Tricerat who's help with printing needs and all that. We also have some of our RTC partners, real-time communication partners, who are building optimization, just like we have Teams optimization for Windows, and so on. Subset of monitors. This was one of the most requested feature that we brought in about 6 months ago, where if you had a three monitor setup just like me, and you wanted to use two monitors for remote session and one monitor for your local needs, you could totally do that. And you could dynamically change, so it's pretty beautiful. There have been cases where I'm using all three monitors, and then I had to connect to a Zoom meeting, or Slack meeting, or something that's not Teams. So it's not optimized. So I had to switch to a local device and local instance of that application running. So I had to do that, and you know I needed to switch from three monitor setup to two monitor setup. So all that is possible, and it adds a lot of value to what we've been doing in where we have a mindset of like local. Of course, we have got Microsoft Teams support. We are improving. We're bringing more and more features. There've been a lot of customers have asked for features like request for control, gallery view. We are bringing all that in pipeline. Both the features are currently in Teams Ring 2. Most of our customers we know are in Teams Ring 3.9 or 4, so it will take some time as it rolls out. But be assured that, again, talking about like local, we want to bring all the functionality that Teams local client has to the Teams in remote app scenario or remote desktop scenario. It's a huge work item, a lot of features. It's very important that we do the right thing. So it's taking time, but then be assured that we are bringing all those to remote Teams as well. Screen capture protection, super critical for customers who have very high security needs, where they want to protect the screen from being scraped and all that. I'll show a couple of pictures of how that works and all that. And of course, multimedia redirection is another big feature that we are working on right now, which is going to be amazing when you see it. Now let's go look at some of these features. Um, when I talked about different personas, clients auto update is one such feature where we thought about all three personas, and this was right there. End users are tired of keeping track of when do they update, when if there's an update available, going through all the process. The IT admins have to keep up with, oh, if there's an update, uh, are all my users using the update or not? And then we as Microsoft want to make sure that all the customers, all the users are on the latest and greatest, not only because they get all the features, but also we bring in security updates. There have been two such updates, and we have clearly called that out in our release notes. And this feature actually helps quite a bit. Uh, to ensure that the users are up to date with their clients. The way this works is just like Edge. Um, when there's an update, you just get an icon on the top right that says there's an update available. When you close your last session, when you close this window, the app automatically updates itself. So we are pretty confident that with this feature, we'll have more users on the latest and greatest version of the client than a very old version. Of course, we still have the feature where the IT admin can turn off auto updates. We haven't regressed that. It's the same reg key that you set, and then the auto update feature can be disabled. The next big feature that I talked about already is the Teams optimization. Here, what happens, just to recap, without the optimization, and this is what happens today with Zoom or Slack or any of the other RTC applications, if you run it in a remote session, is you see the dotted line that goes from the user one to the host VM to the user two's host VM and down to the user two endpoint. That's a very unoptimized path. It goes through God knows how many routers and hubs and all that, and it is very inefficient. The most efficient would be peer-to-peer, and that's what we bring with Teams optimization, both for audio, video, and of course screen sharing. Now, there are many big advantages of this. One is, of course, it is near real time, like the name says, real time communication. The other big advantage for IT admins and customers where they can really save on costs is before optimizations, the VM was like each instance of Teams on the VM side was using up about 12% CPU. And with optimization, that comes down to a tenth, almost a tenth of what it is. So it down to 1.5% CPU. So this means that you could load more users onto the VM without having to worry about compromising on the experience. So the quality of experience is high and the density of the VMs are also high. So it's a win-win situation. Um, Another thing along those lines, but this is something that is already like automatically available. The IT admin doesn't have to do any feature enablement or something. This is about on the VM side, us moving our protocol encode and all that from an XPDM driver to a WDDM driver. In this case, you're seeing on the left side, it is running Windows 10 1809, and on the right side, it's running newer versions. And you can see how it is much smoother on the right side compared to the left side. Now, this is because of all the enhancements that we have done. This is running Unigen running in 4K resolution. Of course, in this slide, you're seeing lower resolution, but the actual video is 4K. And again, much smoother experience. And the thing that you will see on the left and the right is not only how smooth it is, but also the richness, and the big thing there is the frame rate. So you see that the frame rate on the left is about 10, on the right is almost 40. This is amazing because just by upgrading the version of Windows, you get a much better experience. And as a result, you could also increase the density. So the cost of having a virtual user goes down. This is yet another thing that we think about when how can the user get much better experience. IT admin can do less in terms of maintenance and cost and all that, and Microsoft can provide benefit. Again, all three personas are impacted and benefited here. Now let's talk about some of the protocol improvements we are bringing in. We talked about peer-to-peer and how with Teams optimizations, we take the user one and user two and we do peer-to-peer. Similarly, we're trying to do the same thing between the host VM and the end user, and we're trying to see how we can establish a short path so that the connection is as real time as possible. TCP, it expects a acknowledgement packet back, whereas in reliable UDP, there's no packet loss. because we use reliable UDP, and still the user gets a great experience. There are many reasons why I do short path, but I've called out just a few things here. The number one reason is reliability. Connection reliability is key. And with short path, you also get consistent latency. We have seen customers who have seen improvements of round trip time from 29 milliseconds to 10 milliseconds. In fact, after I created this slide, I've heard a few of our customers who have reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, "Oh, we have seen 8 milliseconds." So it's amazing how improvements to the protocol that we bring in, again, impacts all three personas very easily. This is going to be in, we just announced the public preview of this. So it's going to be in public preview till we are confident that everybody is getting the experience they need, and would love to get to GA once we have good experience, good report back from our customers saying they're having great experience. So please, please, please try this out and let us know what you think. And this is very unique to WVD. You will not get this with on-premises remote desktop deployments, and so please go and try it out. The documentation is right there. That's the link there. We'll love to hear back from you on that. The next is Start VM on Connect. Now this is again a much requested feature, and a pretty critical one. And again, like talking about like local, while this goes beyond the app experience, is actually the device experience, if I may bring it here. Now this scenario is this particular feature is very useful for users who have personal VMs, where they do their own stuff, and there's only one user per VM, of course. And at the end of the day, they work for 8 hours, 10 hours, and at the end of the day, they leave the VM running because they don't want to shut it down. The users are not used to shutting down VMs. They're used to just closing the laptop and walking away. And what we do with this feature is basically we take the VMs that have been idle for some time. The IT admin can configure that, and then we put it in, deallocated state. And what that does is it stops the cost meter from running. So instead of paying for 24 hours, now you're really paying for 8 or 10 hours that the user actually uses. And the next day when the user comes in, they try to connect, we actually bring the VM back up, and the user is able to connect. Of course, the user does get appropriate messages, so the user knows that the VM is getting turned on, they're getting connected, so they're not really coming to the IT admin and complaining about it. So it's again a win-win-win situation where the user gets what they want with a little bit of wait, and the IT admin saves a lot of time and money on managing these VMs that are, and generally these are VMs that are high-end VMs where you end up spending a lot of money because of the resource needs that are there. This is going to go into public preview in spring 21, so stay tuned. I'm super excited about this as well. Now let's talk about the feature that I mentioned a little while ago, which is multimedia redirection. This is the first scenario that we're enabling is for videos in a web browser. In this case, you will see that, here's a quick demo. In this case, you will see that the video that we're trying to play, it's a Chrome browser. We have a plugin based model where we'll enable a Chrome extension. And when you try to play a video from YouTube, in this case, you will see that the video plays pretty seamlessly. In this case, a couple of important things to note. The most important one is the CPU utilization. You see it is around the 5-6% mark, and it is kind of minimal. The actual tab that is running the video is almost at between 2 to 4%. Now, if you compare that with multimedia redirection turned off, you will see a couple of things. One is, of course, the video is not really seamless. There will be audio video lag and all that, which you're probably experiencing already today. But you're also going to see that every time a video plays, the Chrome browser ends up taking up almost 30% CPU. That's quite a lot, almost 5 to 6 times of multimedia redirection being enabled or not. So what's happening here? What's the magic? What we're doing here is we're taking the stream that has been encoded using multipass encoder, which means the stream that comes from YouTube is really optimized for streaming. We take that stream without decoding it on the VM side, because when the multimedia redirection is turned off, that stream is decoded on the VM side. It is displayed and is re-encoded using real-time protocol. And as you would expect, multipass encoder and encodes the video to be much, to maintain the quality, and also much smaller, a lot smaller in size than a real-time protocol would do. And when the real-time protocol comes from the client side, again, the side effects are there because it's real-time protocol. The file size is higher, it takes longer to decode and display. Whereas with multimedia redirection, we just take the encoded stream, pass it down to the client, and the client in turn decodes it and plays it. So not only there are bandwidth savings, there's also CPU savings, that like we just saw. And what we do is we take that video and then we just stitch it on top of the Chrome browser, so that it feels like it is real time. The user doesn't see any difference. It feels really nice and awesome. Again, this is another feature that is slated to go into public preview early next year. We are targeting spring, so stay tuned. Super excited about that as well. Now let's talk about screen capture protection. This is a security feature, and obviously we are super excited to bring this because we have customers who are actually blocked on going into production because they don't have this feature. And what this does is it ensures, as you can see here, that when you try, somebody tries to take a screenshot, or they try to take a snip of the screen or anything of that sort, the session that's protected is not captured at all. In this case, you will notice that there is one session on the top left where you can see the content when you're trying to take a screenshot, and there's another one that is completely blocked off because screen capture protection is turned on there. Uh, Next question is, what happens if I accidentally share my screen on a conference call or something like that? Well, the protection is still there. So we make sure that that if the group policy is turned on, as long as the user is connected to that session, the content within that session is completely protected. Of course, this is the first step towards bringing um, screen scraping protection, dynamic, uh, on the fly and all that. But that is a lot a lot more tougher and more involved problem to solve than this. And we thought that let's bring out the group policy based screen capture protection as soon as we can, so that our customers can go and deploy this and actually enable users to work from home, especially in this time of need. So this is another feature. Super excited about this. Dennis on my team has been driving this. That's why you see the screenshots that are, he took the screenshots and send them to me. So kudos to him for making this happen. All right, so that's pretty much what I had to show today. There's a lot more we are working on. Please follow me on LinkedIn. Please follow me on Twitter. You will get regular updates on as and when we bring up new features. Also, please feel free to reach out to me on either LinkedIn or Twitter if you have any questions, if there is anything that our documentation does not answer, or if you think that we should be adding. We recently added, based on customer feedback, based on what some of you asked us. We added a bunch of features, including dark mode for Android client that's coming pretty soon. It's in alpha right now. We added bandwidth recommendations into our documentation. Thank you for that feedback, and I'm really excited that we finally have something there. We also have VM sizing um, uh, recommendations and guidance. So please go give it a try. If you are using WVD, thank you so much for doing that. If there's anything we can do to make your experience, the experience of your users better, please let us know. If you're not using WVD, there's a link right there where you can go and learn more about it. And hopefully it will meet your needs. If not, we are here to listen to you and help you through the process. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See you.